We'll call this meeting to order. Paula, can you conduct roll call?
Scott Howard. John Postick.
Present.
Michelle Dean. Here. Jonathan Heisel. John Joyce.
Here.
Don Casperite.
Here.
Barbara Larson. And Dana Templeton. And you have a quorum.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting?
So moved.
There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. It passes. Next item, item number 3, cases withdrawn, none. Item number 4, continuance requests, none. Item number 5, consent docket, none. Item number 6A, cases for individual consideration, SRCA 19-00023 at 1801 Wheeler Street. Laura?
Good morning. I'm going to make this really short. You got our staff report. We recommend approval. The developer is here and the architects, and they're going to make a presentation for you.
Good morning. My name is Blair Humphreys. I'm the developer at Wheeler District, and excited to be before you this morning. I think the last time we were here was a little over a year ago, but we've decided, as a result of it being some time, to provide you both with an update, kind of summarizing things that have transpired in Wheeler District over the last 18 months as we've begun construction on Phase 1. And then I'll turn it over to Dan and let him tell you a little bit about the office building that's before you for individual consideration. So it's you know, most people know Wheeler District with where we started, which is with the Ferris wheel. Ferris wheel was open to the public in July of 2016. Since then, we've been hard at work getting the PUD in place and getting the infrastructure in place and beginning the housing and mixed-use development. Of course, the long-term plan is to continue developing out until the full district connects to the riverfront and really integrates into the city as a whole. Here's where we've been. We had the distinct pleasure of developing in one of the rainiest years on record in Oklahoma. So all that dirt you see there turned into mud for much of the year. But we persevered, working with a great team of architects and builders and craftsmen. Here you see the cottages coming up out of the ground. Things begin. It was, you know, very much an Oklahoma story to see a small village begin to emerge in the middle of a plain. We did 12 cottages as part of Phase 1, 48 single-family homes that were well on our way. I think we have just over 40 homes that have been moved into at this point, with somewhere in the range of 8 to 10 under construction at any given time. Here you see the completed product. This is coming online, and its proximity to downtown. I always remind people that, you know, even though it is quite dense in terms of the product, it's about 13 units per net acre, just the typical single-family product, or 7 units per gross acre, and that doesn't even include the townhomes, condos, and apartments, which will make it even considerably more dense, hitting that threshold that was originally outlined in the city's vision for this area. But it still has courtyards, so you still have private outdoor space that connects into the home. We really think it's a great balance and blend of urban living and proximity to downtown. Mixed use, of course. We have a couple things that we're excited about. One is the Big Friendly Brewery, which is under construction, set to open this spring. We have the Terminal Commons, which is the historic terminal building in the center of the site that'll reemerge as an all-day cafe early next year. And then we have other civic functions and amenities. We're delighted that we were approved by the Oklahoma City School Board in August for a new charter school. This school will be located on the southwest corner of 15th and Douglas Street, which is really just outside of the Wheeler District master plan area. It's nested within the neighborhood, the Jones Grove neighborhood to the west of us. And it'll serve not just Wheeler District, it'll serve Jones Grove and portions of College Hill and other neighborhoods south of Twin Creek. In fact, Wheeler District won't even make up more than 40% of the student population. So it really is a community school in an area that really does need more seats in community schools. I know Most people are familiar with Pathways to Greatness closing schools, but on the south side we have quite the opposite problem, where overcrowding has caused a lot of pressure on the facilities. There you can see that boundary and how it'll serve the area around it. Finally, I always like to remind everyone that this wasn't our idea. It was really the city's vision. It started with putting water in the river, which was such a wonderful idea. Water has been much more successful than televisions in terms of the amenity. Then you had the Oklahoma River improvements, which really, I think, initiated this body, this Scenic River strategic plan in 2004, which called for this area to be a mixed-use neighborhood. And then, of course, we had a public charrette that was in 2014, where the community really turned out to help us set the vision for the area. So we continue to execute on the master plan. It certainly has been a lesson in patience. The old adage that nothing happens as fast or as on budget as you would hope is certainly true, but we're making headway and excited about the future. With that, I'll turn it over and we can talk more about the office building.
I'm going to put my name here as I'll add you, Blair. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I'm Dan Govine, Associate and Architect with Alfred Hall Monahan Morris, and very excited to present the first mixed-use retail office development in the Wheeler District. Let's just get into it. This is our site indicated in blue. We're calling it Block 13. And we're just west of Western, just east of the former, the runway of the former downtown Oklahoma City Air Park. Zooming in on our site and the immediate context, so we're at Block 13. As noted, the terminal building is visible in the lower right here, which is really the only significant remaining building from the former air park, and it's been renovated, so that's kind of our historic context immediately adjacent to the site, as well as the Big Friendly Brewery, which is under construction, and a growing array of single-family housing. To our east is an existing concrete slab, which serves as surface parking for the time being, and a future mixed-use development is planned on this site, which would include structured parking that would also serve the office building. The thing to point out, I think, as far as our immediate context is we're at a unique intersection in the district where there's a convergence of roads, none of which are through streets. So we have this kind of special moment where we kind of see this almost as a Roman piazza moment where the non-through streets encourage people to pause, encourage them to inhabit the space around the buildings here. Residents in the housing development will use the terminal building for their mail collection, so there's always going to be a strong pedestrian and connection with hub of activity and sort of a center of public life. So that's how we're coming into this with that in mind. On our immediate site, we've got, in the future, housing will line the block to the south, as well as a future higher density multifamily building on the northwest corner. And surface parking tucked neatly away, screened by the buildings. These are all separate submittals that we're not looking at today, but they will come your way eventually, so stay tuned on those. But we're focusing on this piece, which is comprised of 8,000 square feet of leasable retail space at the ground level. Street trees and sidewalks are already installed, so that's great to have that. Those will be retained. And so we're really focused on the building here, again, primarily leasable retail with the small office lobby. And let's talk about massing for a moment. I'll come back to floor plans and materials and other things, but so we start with a block. This is basically just representing the area needed to make the development work and provide the square footage and uses that the owner desires. So we start with that. We start to kind of chisel away at that form. We looked at a number of different roof forms. The obvious choice of a simple pitched roof, inspired by the housing, was something we studied. for a building of this size, it didn't feel right. It also didn't offer, the meaningful space on the third floor that we need to get volume and get the square footage we need. So we kept working on it. We studied a number of options. We eventually arrived at the Quonset hut form, which we felt was an appropriate nod to the history of the site as an air park. And it's an industrial form. It's efficient to create, efficient to heat and cool, but it offers that volume and it offers an interesting form to differentiate this particular use from the primarily residential typologies in the district. Let me just get caught up here. Yeah, so moving forward, we looked at an interesting concept of harking back to this sort of checkered airstrip flags. I liked it very much. Ultimately, we landed on a slightly more abstract expression of that idea, which was by shifting the windows, we can create that impression, add interest to the facade, and provide so a little bit of fun, I guess, a little dynamic element to the facade. Which leads me to materials. It's a very simple palette. At the base, we've expressed a vertical raked concrete, which is achieved by using form liners, so it provides an extra durability at the ground level. Above that, on the second and third floor, is a standing seam metal product, which is, I believe, from Barrage Metals, but it can achieve our radius, so it's really the walls and the roof are one material. And then, of course, glass, clear low-E glass, dark anodized aluminum storefronts, a variety of heat and drought tolerant plant species, and of course concrete paving. So there's not a lot of different materials. It's simple, and we like that very much. So looking at the site plan, again, the sidewalk portion's already been constructed, as well as street trees. Our building is primarily in urban condition, and that's important because we want to define the street edge. We want to encourage pedestrian activity. We have 3 landscaped areas on the site, which are a result of the angle of the road. Bike racks are provided to the south, as well as street parking, which exists to our north along Southwest 17th. We have a larger landscape area to the rear of the building, which I say rear of the building. There really is no back to the building. All sides are glazed and all have the potential for entrances. This will be a screen that will hide our chillers for the building as well as the transformer. Let's look at zooming in on the plan a little bit. Again, basically 8,000 square feet of retail space, which we want to keep open. These are indicating where potential entrances would be located. Of course, these are subject to tenancy splits, which are yet to be determined. But, it's a compact core arrangement, so we have a small lobby that will take you up to the 2 office floors above. Landscape species are called out, and I think that's it. Our scope line is indicated in blue here. I think the second floor, we've got 7,600 square feet of office accommodation, a compact core arrangement, which is located where it is for a very intentional reason, which is the future residential developments proposed that will line the southern corner of the block encourage us to kind of put our dark elements here where we don't need views as much and we want to offer a little more privacy for future developments. And really just have as open of a plan and leave that to the tenant fit-outs that will come. And the third floor, slightly smaller as the arch of the form of the building starts to step in, so this is 7,600 more or less square feet. And the clear height to structure, I think is important to note, is 15 feet. And we have 25 feet clear to the top of the arch. So it's amazing light-filled volume on the third floor. This is going to be a really unique office accommodation. And so we're excited about that. So starting, again, the skylights, which allow all this natural light from above, are shown in the north elevation. Standing seam metal coming down to our base of concrete, which anchors the building. On the south elevation, you can see where our sort of checkered flag-inspired window pattern breaks down for a moment where our core exists, so this will have a building next to it. But we thought it's important to offer some natural light into the stair cores. We don't want them to feel like dark, depressing escape stairs. We want people to use them. We want them to be inspiring. And the east and west elevations, again, kind of more of the same, but you can see the Quonset hut form is visible. And let's keep moving. So what does it look like? This is the primary view from the northeast corner. This is really what you get, and I think it's it's a striking form that we're excited about. It's differentiated from the other typologies. You can see where the choice of our core location was influenced by the future massing. Obviously, that's not a design. It's just a placeholder, but it is a very close proximity of building. The ground level, we expressed the storefronts with a center set mullion, so you actually read the dark anodized storefronts, which makes it easy to swap out operable doors for fixed glass depending on the future uses, which may change over time, of course. The second and third floors, we've used a concealed mullion SSG system, so they read a little more like plate glass. There are joints here. They're just diminished, which is nice. The east elevation, so you can see the Quonset hut form. You can start to see the bowstring trusses. These are a simple pre-engineered Volcraft product, industrial in nature, and kind of reminiscent even of the Ferris wheel and this kind of curved structures, which we like. You can see the skylights visible through, allowing that natural light in. We framed the storefronts at the ground level with concrete, which just helps to anchor the standing seam metal portion of the volume. And finally, view from the northwest corner. Again, this multifamily block is visible here in white. And, you know, it's clear how the building form diminishes by arcing back from the street, so the mass is not so imposing. Retail and restaurant uses are, activate the street edge. There's high visibility from within and from without. So, the idea, these are 10 feet high glass, so there's light deep into the space, which is great. Eyes on the street. It's very inviting. These are 8 feet tall windows on the second and third floor, so it's hard to get a sense of the scale, but that's actually a really generous glazing provision, which is great. And that's really where we are. We're excited about this. It's a unique Class A office building in a unique district of Oklahoma City. I think, we looked at the historical context of the site, which inspired us, the Ferris wheel, the downtown air park, the special convergence of streets at this particular intersection, and a desire to differentiate this form from other typologies on the site. I think we've done that successfully. At the same time, it's a very modern, it's a very forward-looking building, and it's clear logic, and it's simple and easy to understand, which is, as architects, is what we like. And so thank you. I think if there's any questions, we'd be more than happy to take those.
Thank you. Are there any questions for our applicant? In that case, I would entertain a motion. That would be a motion to approve from Casperite and a second from Templeton. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Other business, item 7, there's none. Item 8, communications, administrative approval report. Laura, is there anything noteworthy? Not so much.
2 signs and a demo, so I don't think that's too noteworthy.
Item 8B, comments from planning department staff.
Yes, the commissioner training is January 31st. You all should have a calendar reminder. And this will be my last meeting with you guys because I'm assistant planning director now. So hopefully my replacement will be on board in 4 to 6 weeks. 4, 6, 12 weeks. And then we'll introduce you, but otherwise I'm always available for questions. Laura will hold down the fort on Scenic River as always.
At the present time, we don't have anything for January 2nd. We'll probably cut that off really quickly. The deadline was Tuesday. We normally wait a little bit, but since that's the day after a holiday where people might not feel like getting out too much, we'll probably let you know next week if we're going to have a meeting in January.
Okay. Item C, comments from committee members.
I'd just like to say this is my last meeting. My term has ended. I've enjoyed it. I'm a representative from the Riverfront Trust, and Brian Daughtery, who is also on the Riverfront, will be replacing me. So, again, I've enjoyed my tenure here.
Well, thanks, Don. We've appreciated having you. Item D, our next meeting date, TBD, I suppose.
Yes. It could be January 2nd.
And with that, we will conclude our meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Laura. Appreciate it. Yeah, good to see you as well.
Bye.